The Shadow Within. Lessons from Mandela and the Stoics you've been lied to. The world told you pain is weakness, that failure is shame, that darkness means you're broken. But what if I told you, the darkness is exactly where your strength begins? You've heard the name Mandela. You've seen the quotes on posters. But what you don't see is the prison, not just the bars, the silence, the decades of being forgotten. Nelson. Mandela didn't rise because of light. He rose because he faced his own abyss and walked through it. This video isn't about feel-good motivation. It's for when your back is against the wall, when there's no applause, no help coming, just you, and the storm inside your mind. These aren't just words. They're weapons, forged from ancient Stoic fire and the scars of men like Mandela. You're not here to be entertained. You're here to wake up. The obstacle is the path you lost. You failed. They laughed. You stayed down. But what if you knew that every fall is a forge? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." He wasn't being poetic. He was being brutally honest. You don't grow despite the hardship. You grow because of it. Mandela didn't become a leader after prison. He became a leader in prison. 27 years. Concrete floors. No freedom. He didn't escape. He endured until endurance became power. Imagine a blade, dull, cracked, forgotten. Now heat it. Hammer it. Over and over. That's how a weapon is born, and that's how you become one. Your pain is the fire. Your struggle is the anvil. Don't run. Shape yourself. Control what you can. Let the rest burn. Most people drown in things they can't control. The economy, the past, other people's opinions. It's like standing in a storm, screaming at the wind. Stoicism taught one truth. You only control one thing, your response. Mandela sat in prison while the world moved on. He had no control over time. No control over injustice, but he mastered one thing, his mind. They could chain his body, but not his thoughts. Imagine this, you're in a sinking ship. Everyone's screaming, clawing at the walls, but there's one man sitting still, eyes closed, breathing slow, planning the next move. That's the power you need, not noise. Composure. You can't control the storm, but you can become the eye of it. The moment you stop wasting energy on what's outside, you start winning the war inside. People are slaves to things they can't change, but the ones who rise, they focus only on what they can. Become the thing that cannot be broken. It always seems impossible until it's done. You think life is unfair? Good, because fairness never made anyone unbreakable. You don't become steel in comfort. You become steel when you're bent, crushed, melted, and still hold form. Mandela watched men around him lose hope. Some died in body, others died in mind. But he built something they couldn't see, an inner fortress, a castle deep in the mountains. Storms rage, enemies gather, but the walls are untouched because they were built stone by stone in silence. That's what you build now, not fame, not followers, but the kind of soul that doesn't shatter. No matter the pressure. They will try to humiliate you, to break your rhythm, to make you doubt. But you become the thing that bends, but never breaks. Let pain speak, but never decide. Pain has a voice. It screams. It whispers lies. It tells you to stop, to lash out, to quit. But pain is a visitor, not a guide. Mandela was tortured, stripped of freedom. But he didn't let pain define his choices. He listened to pain, then chose wisdom. When you act out of hurt, you become a slave. When you pause, breathe, choose, you become a master. You're in a dark room. Pain flicks the light on. You see everything, but you don't move until your eyes adjust. That's control. Let the pain speak. Let it scream. But you decide. You are not your emotion. You are the one watching it. Revenge feeds the fire, but forgiveness ends the war. Bitterness is seductive. It tells you justice comes from hurting back. But revenge keeps you chained to your enemy. Mandela forgave the very people who destroyed his life, not because they deserved it, but because he deserved peace. Holding on to rage is like grabbing a burning coal. You get burned first. You're carrying a bag of fire. It lights up the night, but it burns your hands. Forgiveness isn't surrender. It's strategy. It's saying, you no longer control my next step. You're not weak for letting go. You're powerful for moving on. Section 6, power comes when you stop needing it. You chase power, influence, respect. But the more you chase it, the further it runs. Mandela became powerful not by demanding power, but by becoming undeniable. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. A king sits in silence. No crown, no army, but everyone listens when he speaks. True power isn't loud. It's presence. It's stillness. It's knowing who you are without needing to prove it. Stop chasing approval. Stop begging to be seen. Be still. Be ready. Be dangerous when needed. That's power. Embrace the lonely path. If you walk the path of truth, you will walk alone, not forever, but long enough to question everything. Mandela's transformation didn't happen at a rally. It happened in solitary confinement. A cold floor. No voice, no answers. Only echoes of doubt and a mind that refused to break. Stoicism says if you need applause, you're already lost. Greatness doesn't grow in crowds. It grows in quiet defiance. Picture a torch burning in a cave. No one sees it, but it burns anyway. That's you. That's who you must become. Let go of being understood. Let go of being liked. Be the fire that burns whether seen or not. Your mind is the battlefield. This isn't a motivational poster. This is war. And the battlefield is your mind. Every day the enemy whispers, "You're not enough. You're too late. You'll never change." That voice isn't truth. It's programming. Mandela rewired his mind behind bars. He read, he planned. He visualized a country reborn long before it was real. He didn't wait for change. He became it. Stoics call this discipline of perception. You don't just react, you reshape reality. Imagine a fighter walking into the arena, blood in the sand, crowd screaming. But his mind? Still, focused, because he's already won in here. Your enemy isn't outside. It's the belief you can't rise. Kill that belief. Win the war inside, and the outside will follow. Turn suffering into service. Suffering can destroy you, or it can refine you. Mandela didn't waste his suffering. He transformed it into service, into policy, into unity, into legacy. Pain alone means nothing. Pain with purpose becomes history. You don't heal by hiding. You heal by rising and pulling others up with you. Stoicism isn't just about endurance. It's about transformation. A man walks through fire. Behind him, the path glows. Others follow, not because he told them to, but because his scars lit the way. That's your mission. Not to avoid pain, but to use it. Not to survive, but to lead. You are already enough. Act like it. Stop waiting for a sign, for the perfect plan, for someone to say you're ready. Here it is, you're ready. Not because you know everything, but because you've survived enough to begin. Mandela didn't lead as a perfect man. He led as a prepared man, prepared to fail, prepared to rise again. Your scars are not disqualifications. They are credentials. The world will keep asking, who do you think you are? And your answer must be exactly who I need to be. No more waiting. No more begging. Stand, speak, move. You don't need permission. Just purpose. Brick by brick. Build the life you were denied. You weren't handed anything. No easy start. No golden path. Just walls, blocks, doubt. But that's fine. Because what was denied to you can be built by you. Mandela started with a cell. 4 walls. A bucket. No books. No tools, no power. And yet, he built a legacy from within those walls. That's the game. Brick by brick. Every day, one action. One decision that reflects who you're becoming, not what you've been. You're in a ruin. Broken columns. Rubble. Everyone else sees destruction, but you see materials. Foundation. A future castle in every crack. Stop complaining about the debris. Start building. Silence is your superpower. Loud people rarely lead. They distract. They overcompensate. But silence is terrifying, because silence means control, presence, focus. Mandela didn't need to shout. He looked men in the eyes and they listened, because they felt the weight of his mind. Stoics practiced silence daily, to listen, to reflect, to sharpen thought before speech. A lion doesn't roar before the strike. It waits, stalks, moves only when it must. You don't need to post every move, prove every step. Convince every doubter. Let your silence build tension. Let your presence be a message. Bleed now, so you don't break later. We all bleed, but most bleed later when it's too late. Mandela bled in private, bled in sacrifice, bled in restraint. But because he bled early, he stood strong when history called his name. Train now, suffer now, lose sleep now, because the moment will come and you won't have time to prepare. You'll only have what you already are. A soldier trains in darkness. Sweat drips, muscles burn, no crowd, no glory. But when the battle arrives, he's ready, because he already fought it alone. If it hurts now, good. It means you're not wasting time. Stand alone, stand anyway. There will be days when no one claps, no one texts, no one understands. You'll question yourself, and the world will hand you a mirror of doubt. Look into it, and don't blink. Mandela stood alone before he stood in front of nations. He stood firm before he was followed. True courage is not when everyone is with you. It's when no one is. You're in an empty field. Rain, silence, just you. But you rise anyway. Because the truth is, you don't need crowds to be great. You just need to decide nothing will stop you. What you endure, you inherit. Pain shapes legacy, not comfort, not applause. Mandela didn't just lead a country. He carried generations through a storm. And it wasn't talent, it was endurance. You want greatness? Don't look for ease. Look for the fire and step in. Because what you endure, you inherit. You become worthy through pressure. The Stoics knew this. The fire does not destroy the iron, it tempers it. So let life hit you, let it bend you, but never let it break you. Because on the other side of that pain is a version of you you were always meant to become. The shadow is not your enemy. You've tried to run from your shadow, the fear, the regret, the rage. But here's the truth. The shadow is not your enemy. It is your teacher. It shows you what still controls you. What you haven't faced. Mandela didn't become light by denying his darkness. He walked with it. That's where real strength lives, not in pretending to be perfect, but in standing up, scars and all, and saying, this is me, and I'm still moving forward. You're walking through a tunnel. At first it's pitch black, but then you realize you were the light all along. You waited for permission, for the right time, for someone to choose you. But here's the truth. You are the key, not your past, not your followers, not your title. You. Mandela didn't wait. He became, and so can you. Let them doubt. Let them talk. Let them leave. You've already been through hell, so now walk like you own the road. You were told that darkness meant you were broken, but now you know the truth. The darkness wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Every scar, every loss, every lonely night. It wasn't the end. It was the forge. You've seen the shadow. You've stood in the storm, and you didn't break. You became unshakable. Now, the world isn't waiting for a perfect you. It's waiting for a real you. So let me ask you this. What are you still waiting for? What would happen if you stopped running and started building? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share this with someone walking through their own shadow. Subscribe if you're ready to become the weapon your past tried to destroy.